Welcome back. Thank you for joining us on the second half of the Factor Uncensored. More than a week has passed since the midterm election. Polling centers experienced multiple issues that day, including not having enough paper ballots, staffing problems, and overall delays. Harris County District Attorney Kim Ogg has now since launched an investigation into all those problems. She also tapped the Texas Rangers for help on the case. We have Cody McCubbin and State Representative Ron Reynolds joining us here on the Factor Uncensored. Cody, we saved this one for you. We waited you came from you just got off a plane, yes, got here because you called me Monday and you said, this is a big deal, Isaiah. Yep. So this investigation to you means what on this whole process that we saw in Harris County?
Well, it's just broken. The system's broken. I mean, I was one of the presiding judges at my polling location, and I was calling the central office like around 2:30 in the afternoon. I didn't even have somebody even come to deliver paper until 6:22, and I know that's the exact time because I took a photograph of the actual receipt that I got when they came in and arrived. But to sit there and wait for 4 hours to not have ballot paper so people can do what's their constitutional right is just, it's unacceptable. And that happened in multiple locations. It wasn't just me, it was multiple.
Representative Ron Reynolds, is our system broken here in Texas? Should we look at another way of handling this process?
I think, Isaiah, that we need to find better ways to make sure that everybody's able to cast a vote when they go vote. There were some problems. There were some rampant problems with not enough paper ballots, voting machines not working. We need to look at best practices so that we remedy this, and that is what the elections administrator said he wants to do. This is not a criminal matter. This is sour grapes. This is people who lost trying to score political points. But basically, they need to tighten it up. They need to do better, but there's nothing nefarious about it. The Democrats overwhelmingly won in Harris County. Governor Abbott is pissed off because they spent a record amount of money to get rid of Lena Hidalgo, but this is not a criminal matter.
And let's look at the dynamics really quick, Representative Reynolds. We're talking about possibly sour grapes Republicans, but this is a Democrat district attorney who's launching this investigation.
Absolutely. I mean, Kim Ogg is certainly, I have nothing negative about her. She's a friend, but it seems that
this week, right?
Yeah,
nothing negative this week.
But it seems as though she's going out of her way to appease Governor Abbott, she's doing this, as she says, at the behest of the Secretary of State, who Governor Abbott appointed. He also asked the Texas Rangers to look into it. So Governor Abbott is really trying to score points with his base. Hey, Harris County, there must have been some nefarious. I don't know about this, but you heard of the big lie of election fraud and denying the legitimacy of an election. This is something we've heard before. I think once everything is investigated, we're going to see much ado about nothing. It's not going to change the outcome. The Democrats won. There needs to be some changes made, but no one needs to go to jail.
I heard terminology used by Republicans I've never heard before, disenfranchised.
Yeah, how about that?
But do you think this is about politics, Cody, or this is a broken system, bottom line?
It's a broken system. Why is it only Harris County? Why isn't it other counties in the state of Texas that have this issue? And you can't sit there and say that these people aren't disenfranchised because some of these judges only lost by a couple hundred votes. I turned away over 200 people, close to 200 people in my polling location alone. So how can you tell me that those people weren't disenfranchised?
And they never had the opportunity to vote, period. That you know of.
That I know of, because it wasn't just me, it was some of the other ones in the same area. So you're telling me that if you went to my location, then you went to another location, you had the same problem, you go to the third location, they have a problem, that eventually some point you're just gonna say, look, it's just not gonna happen today. It's getting late, the polls are about to close, and then even after 7 o'clock you couldn't vote, you could only vote provisionally. It didn't even count. But so some of these guys, some of these races were only a couple hundred votes, only 200.
But to Isaiah's point, in Harris County, they have voting centers. There's no more precincts, so they can vote anywhere in the county.
And that's even worse because that means even Democrats were disenfranchised. Even Democrats.
Right. So it was Democrats and Republicans, but even the Department of Justice, they came in to try to do an injunction to extend the voting hours to 8, and the Texas Republican Supreme Court said, nope, no, we can't do it. They shut it down. So they tried to appease and accommodate voters to give them an extra hour, and they shut it down.
But those votes would only have been provisional. They wouldn't have counted. You would have to have then gone through and had every single one of those ballots reviewed. So why do that? Why have them reviewed? They should have just counted.
Most people I know that when they had problems at one location, they went to another location and they were able to cast their ballots.
But you couldn't, because everybody within that same location had the exact same
That was
problem.
only early that morning. They still,
No.
I
I was
don't-
running out at 2:30. I was texting all my guys that I work with. We are all having the same problem within the same location. It was not just like one isolated event. It was specifically within Northwest Harris County. We probably had 5 guys that I know that were judges, all had the same problem.
They had problems in Sunnyside as well. So
Exactly.
it wasn't just in Republican areas, it was in Democrat areas too. So I think that's why you can't just say that, as Governor Abbott alleges, that they were just in Republican precincts. That was not true. That was a falsity.
Well, the majority were in Republican precincts. We cannot deny that, right? So over 25 were just in Northwest County. But look, in my opinion, and I'm sure it's your opinion too, and I think this is something we could both agree on, that nobody should be disenfranchised.
Absolutely, I agree with that.
Yeah.
And I think that no one, in my opinion, if you want to look at disenfranchisement, you look at SB 1, the voter suppression bill. That is a voter suppression. But this was some simple mistakes that had happened that need to be tightened up.
But in under SB 2, when you look at what happened with that, you actually have 6,400 more ballots cast, when they did the reconciliation.
All right,
than you did
guys,
have
out of
voters.
time, but this is a serious issue that we need to look into.